Second here. All right. Just going to wait for a couple people to come in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Q&A with the Seance. Mr. Larry Eisler III is with us. Diet Renee. And my good friend, Mr. John Whitman. He is with us today. We are doing this to kind of give you, our customers, who are going to be part of the Seance, an idea of what we're going to be doing and what's available for you. This is like a tutorial, for you as well, so that you know where to go, how to go, when to go. One of the things that I want to talk about is we're starting at 1:00, guys, but we're telling people there's an automated email that's going to go to everybody. Everybody who's on Eventbrite, an automated email is going out to you. That's going to explain a lot of things like we're going to be covering tonight. So what's going to happen is it's going to cover where you're going to park if you want to park, how to get to John's house. That's one of the things that I will be talking about tonight. We're going to actually start at 12:00, where people can come and start getting their tickets, their wristbands. They're going to get your wristbands, and you're going to go ahead and do whatever you want. All the vendors are already going to be set up. So if you want to start a little bit earlier, you can. The only thing that's going to start at 1:00, technically, is the investigations inside the Roff house. Also, the vendors are supposed to start at 1:00, but if they're already open, then they're already open. Then go ahead and go. But we're asking everybody to come around 12:00 to start. You're going to meet my wife. She's going to give you all these 4-tier tickets. Whatever tier you had, you're going to get a special kind of wrist with different colors. So you're going to receive all that, and then you guys can go ahead and go roam around. If you do go to the Roff house and you have, let's say you have a 1:00, please show up at least 15 minutes early, 15 to 20 minutes early. That way you can check in. Actually, a half hour. I'd like to really see people do it. Reason why there's going to be a video for you to watch to know the whole history of the Watsika Wonder, Mary Roff and Laurency Venom, so that you guys can go over that briefly. It's about maybe a 12-minute long video to show each and every one of you what the history is, what's going on inside the house. Where therein, after that, you're going to then go inside the house where you're going to meet our tour guides. Let me show you your tour guides for Saturday. We have our tour guides here from Spire. We have Ed Levin and Mike Alsip, and then I got my buddy Bob Anderson from the show Bob After Dark, and of course we got ACG. We have Nat and Elliot. They're going to be there, and they're going to be your tour guides all day long. Ed and Mike are actually going to be at the museum. Just for those of you that need to know, you can also do an investigation, which is part of your $25 ticket as well as the $45 ticket, which is part of the one where it's down in the basement. You're going to do like a ghost hunt 101 with these guys. It'll probably be only about maybe 6 or 8 down there at a time. It's not a scheduled thing, so you can come and go all day long. And one of the other things that we're going to be doing is you guys can park anywhere you want. If you're going to park over near the train station, there's a large parking lot over near the train station. You need to park around the museum. All around the outside perimeter of the museum, you guys can park at. John's house, you can park all up and down the road. Am I right on that, John?
Yes.
All right. So we can park all up and down the road if you want. So there's going to be more than enough parking for everybody. And the commute is only 5 minutes to the destination from John's house, the Roff house, to the museum and the train depot. And we're going to, Larry, I'm going to put it over to you. What are we going to be doing with you?
So this is going to be a little different for me in terms of events because I'm not really a part of the event. I'm more like in the background doing my own thing, and you're going to see me running around with camera gear.
Right.
So for the most of the part during the day, I really won't be at the museum or the train station. I might be there for a couple B-roll shots. That's about it. You'll mostly see me at the house outside. I might pop into the house for a minute while groups are kind of rotating around to get some B-roll shots of people walking in and out.
Right.
But you're really going to see me more towards the end with Diet and her seance.
Right.
We're going to be filming whoever's doing the seance, approaching the area, filing in and sitting down, and a lot of camera gear around the table that Diet's going to be at. And then once the seance is done, there's going to be like a testimonial booth kind of like the TV show The Office, where you sit down and you look at the camera and you talk about your experience at the seance. I felt this, I heard this, I
Mhm.
smelled cigar smoke, and I think that was my dad coming through to talk to me. Whatever you experienced, you have that opportunity to then be filmed, documentary style, recorded, to say what your experience was, and there's the potential for you to appear in the documentary as well.
Right. So just so that everybody knows, this is all part of a documentary. We've invited you all out here. I when I do my ghost tours, everybody goes, "Oh, I loved all those shows. I just love them. I love them. I wish I could be on one of those shows one of these days." They come out to my house. I got a haunted house. Well, that's what we're giving each and every one of you. You're all part of this event. You're all going to be in this. If you're part of the event, there's a good chance you're going to be in the film.
Mm-hmm.
So we're offering that to each and every one of you. One of the
Right.
other things I wanted to just talk about the tour real quick, just so each and every person knows, when you go in there with your group, it's going to be an up to 20. If we have up to 20 at a time, every hour on the hour, it's going to be 6 to 7 on every floor, and you're going to rotate every 15 minutes. You're going to have recorders on the first and second floor, which will be generated to your email. In the basement, you'll see Bob Anderson from Bob After Dark. He's going to be down there with the Anahata Spirit portal box. You're going to be able to utilize that. After you guys get done that, you're then going to give your recorders to a young lady. She's going to be at the table in the dining room. She's going to upload them to the email system, and we're going to send them out to everyone. Where therein, after that, you'll exit out, and you then can go in the backyard, and we'll have some equipment out there for you to go ahead and play with for a little while, because it's actually also the land. There's some things that go on in the land. People have heard voices. They've heard people walking. So there could be possibly things, and you're going to gather evidence for us. When Larry was talking about when we're going to be doing the documentary at night, take pictures, but no flashes, please.
Yes.
Especially around near Larry. Do not take any flashes near Larry. Videotape if you wish. Try not to have any of your lights on or anything like that, because that'll mess with Larry's camera work. One of the other things that we're going to talk about, let's talk before I get to you, Diet. Let's talk to John here.
Hold on.
John.
Before you jump to John, I got two more things.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Number one, by purchasing a ticket to this event, you are agreeing to appear in the documentary.
Yes.
Point blank. As long as you're there, we have permission to feature you in there. If you're doing the testimonial, the little tiny interviews in that tent, or if you're at the main table with Diet, you'll be listed by name if you appear in the documentary. So that's a little different. That one will have a release form, but everybody else that'll be in the background of shots or in the investigation in the house, you'll appear in it, and your likeness agreement is just the fact that you bought the tickets.
Right.
And then the second thing is obviously, yes, the flash, the lights, and all that. Please don't look at the camera, because if something really cool is going on, and I have this really awesome angle of you watching the seance, and all of a sudden you look at the camera, that whole cool shot can't be included now.
We don't need that.
So it could be this really awesome, dramatic, like, wow, this is so emotional. And now it's not in the shot anymore.
Yeah.
That one's got to go. So if you see anyone walk around the camera, please, please do not stare at the lens, because you almost guarantee that that little clip won't be included now.
Right. So make sure that's done. Very important words by Mr. Larry Eisler there.
We're just trying to make sure that we can include as many people in this as we can. And I'd hate to cut something really cool out that showed you and your family because someone looked at the lens.
Right.
That'd be unfortunate.
So John, I'm going to pull up John's thing here real quick. So John is going to be, he is the owner of the Roff house. John, how many years ago did you buy the Roff house?
19.
2019. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, inside this house, as well as the outside of the house, is beautiful. This house is a beautiful house. John busted his ass, man. He worked his butt off on this home. This is a fabulous home. The ambiance that's inside this house is just beautiful. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You are going to be going into, it's not some rickety old haunted house type thing, ladies and gentlemen. We got style, we got grace inside this house, man. So that's what's going to be coming to each and every one of you. John's going to be doing also, he's going to be one of the speakers, the first speaker. John's going to be there at 1:45, and he's going to be talking about the history of the Roff House. John, can you give us just a little bit of history? Don't give it all away, but just a brief history of these two ladies.
Yes. Well, the house was built by a family of spiritualists, the Roff family, and the month and the year they purchased the property, July of 1865, their daughter Mary Roff, who's on the right, passed away. It was kind of violent, her life tragic. She was ill her whole life, and they came to believe that what she'd suffered from wasn't a physical or mental illness, but a spiritual one. And they believed that she'd been possessed by evil spirits, and that's
Right.
why she had died. Uh, they built the house, they built Roff Home. They spent 10 years practicing spiritualism in that house. And 10 years in, a girl come across town comes to believe that she's been possessed by the spirit of Mary Roff and comes to live at the house for 100 days, having everyone fully convinced that she's their dead daughter.
Right.
And so this story of the Watsika Wonder is the story of these two girls, and especially Laurentia Venom and the time she spent in Roff Home, uh, supposedly under the possession of Mary Roff. And one thing that I think is interesting about the house is that, you know, people come to the house now to do investigations like what you're going to do with people who come to the house. Well, the Roffs built the house with the purpose of doing investigations, with the purpose of trying to communicate with their dead daughter, of trying to communicate with some other side. And in the spiritualist idea that we're just separated by a thin veil between this world and another, and that if you know what to do and how to do it, you can pierce that veil.
Right.
So this house was built with that purpose and kind of carries it deep in its being even today.
Yeah. So you talk about how thin the veil is. Okay. So 2 weeks ago, me and Larry were out at his place called in Jericho, Wisconsin. We went out to his church, right? On our tours, me and him went out there. We did this Estes method. It's when you guys see this video that Larry's going to put out eventually, it's unbelievable. Getting back to this veil. Right now, because the way we all had the Northern Lights, this went on about 2 weeks ago, right? About 2 weeks ago, these Northern Lights go on. The magnetic field right now and how thin the veil is right now, everybody, I'm telling you, everybody's getting some kind of activity. I have caught shadow people after shadow people every weekend on my tours. And I put up a lot of those pictures there. And I really believe that this is going to continue all the way up until the mid-November. This is going on. I really believe that we're going to just have, number one, it's going to be good weather that day, which is going to be good. So far, so good. And I think a lot of people are going to be able to gather a lot of evidence because of the magnetic field right now that's going on because of the Northern Lights. I believe they call it G4 or G5. But these things are going on, and that's what's causing a lot of these apparitions to show up, hearing voices, working on Estes like Larry did, and he's getting exact answers on things. It's unbelievable what's going on right now. I had Pete over at the Monroe House yesterday, same thing. He's getting things that on routine basis now. And it's like really, really weird how the atmosphere and the environment is right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you come out there with your phones and this and that, because it's you that are going to be the investigators that day. You're going to gather all of our evidence for us. And this house here is a very spiritually active home. I've heard disembodied voices inside this house. And so let's get to Diet. Now, Diet, this is Miss Diet Renee. She's going to be doing the seance at 7:30. We're going to ask everybody to show up at the front of the house by 7 p.m. Me and Larry are going to go over how everything's going to go down behind in the backyard of the Roff home. So please show up at 7 o'clock because we are going to try to do it around like 7:30. It might be a little ish, like Diet knows that word ish.
Yes, I'm an ish.
Yeah. So it might be a little 7:30 ish. So we'll see what happens. but I'm going to leave it over to Diet right now. And please explain to me and the audience what exactly we're going to be doing.
Okay, with a seance, I do believe we got a round table, and there's only 2 spots in this table that are going to be signed seats. One is to myself, and one is to a lady by the name of Sarah Jo, who is going to be what I call my anchor person. I'm literally going to tie my energy into hers, and she's going to hold me down. Because with this, I am essentially going to go into a very light trance. I don't want to go into a deep trance, and just a light trance to be able to allow either Mary through or Lorancy or whoever is around there through. We're going to have some articles on the table, like you stated, some bells to come through to see if Spirit wants to ring those bells, see if they want to speak through me. In a seance, you never know what's going to happen. You can't guarantee, tables to pick up a move. You can't guarantee that my voice is going to change. It's really, this is where we're going to show up. We're going to bring our energy together. We're going to build that energy on a night that's closer to the thinning of the veil, which would be All Hallows Day or All Hallows Eve, and allow Spirit to do whatever they're going to do. So as much as I would love to say, hey, yes, the tables are going to start to dance. Yes, you're going to see, trees uproot themselves and, be like Mickey Mouse going on. You cannot guarantee anything. In the words of Scotty Rourke, nothing may happen. We might show up and we just go, dance doing mediumship readings. Who knows? But what I'm hoping for is that for Lorancy to come through or Mary or Dorothy, and to allow them to come through and speak through me as what we're really hoping for. So,
right. And the other thing is, just so the audience knows, this house here has actually gone through different timelines where very strong personalities were in it, other than the Roff family.
Yes.
We John's going to talk a little bit about Catherine Clifton. I'm assuming that you're going to talk a little bit about Catherine Clifton when you talk about the Roff house. Am I right, John?
Yes.
Our aviator?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Yeah, the aviator, Catherine Clifton, very strong-willed lady.
Yes.
Could she actually still be inside the house? Interesting idea.
True. She came through the last time when we were how many miles out? So you never know.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and all that's going to come out on the film when we're completed with it, and then Larry's going to be able to distribute it. However, we're going to distribute it. I don't know how we're doing it.
We'll get to that later.
One thing that people don't realize is that in a seance, when I'm going under a light trance, I'm hoping Lorancy comes through. I'm hoping it's Mary. I'm hoping it's Dorothy. That's what I'm hoping for. But if your grandma is really a saucy woman with a very strong personality, and she's going to topple, keep your eyes open, your ears open for whatever comes out my mouth, because quite frankly, it could be your grandma coming through.
Right.
We have no control. I don't have the ability to say, hey, I'm only going to, speak to these certain people. You never know who's going to come through.
No, you don't. You see, and that's the thing about evidence. What you don't see or hear or anything like that, it's being gathered by maybe your phone or some of these recorders. And ladies and gentlemen, bring out your devices. Yeah. Bring out what you want. I have no problem with that. If we go on the land, as long as it doesn't disrupt Larry's job at night, feel free to.
What I'm asking though during the seance is phones to be like the silent. Sure. I want silence. Please don't bring equipment that is going to go every time a spirit's through. Yeah. All of those wonderful things, because when I go into and like I said, I'm going into a light trance. I'm not going to go into a deep trance, because although I'm a trance medium and I do have the ability to just shift my conscious out of the way, allow another one to come in and completely change my voice if they want to. I'm going to try not to allow that to happen. If it happens, you know what? Sarah will have a safe word to be able to bring me back through if she needs to. But I really don't want to be, jerked out of this by bells and whistles around me, because that can honestly be dangerous for me. So that's what I'm asking for. No loud bells or whistles. No, all of a sudden we got the Ghostbusters on somebody's phone going off, all that wonderful stuff.
I will make sure that if all of a sudden I forget, because I have done that. Someone remind me and say, Neil, make sure everybody turns off everything, puts everything at least on airplane mode, turns off things, turns off volume, because airplane mode, we definitely need airplane mode to be on everybody's phone, so we're going to get false positives.
That was going to be a part of what I was going to mention when we're at the Roff House anyway, because
Okay.
of using wireless microphones for Diet. They can get interference from cell phones.
Mhm.
So I was gonna mention it at the day anyway.
Now that
So
would be spooky. If all of a sudden on the phone we got somebody's child's voices coming through the microphone, that'd be great.
That would be
well,
nice.
it wouldn't be that. It would be that thing where like you're listening to the audio from your part, and it'll go like that.
Ah,
That gets baked into the audio because of the cell signal. It kind of
Right.
crosses with the wireless signal of the microphone. So, especially when there's going to be a whole bunch of people there, airplane mode.
All right. So let's get into the speakers. Now, John, you're going to be presenting everybody all day long. John's going to be at the museum. And ladies and gentlemen, this museum, which was originally a courthouse, is beautiful. This is unbelievable. It's like something out of an old movie. It is one of the most beautiful courthouses I've seen that I've ever seen, period. And so the speakers, John, they're going to be coming up. At 1:45, we have you doing the history of the Roff House. At 2:45, Archbishop Christina Rake and an interview with the exorcist and his assistant. Now, what's interesting about this is it's actually going to be a podcast. I have it's called Rook on the Road. He's a friend of mine named Brendan Rook. He's going to be doing a podcast over in the museum for this this interview alone with Christina Rake. They're going to be talking about exorcisms, and they're going to be talking about demonology on that one. And then at 3:45, I'm going to have Mr. Sam Maranto present Stories from Out of This World. He is the head of MUFON in Illinois. That means UFOs, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to give you evidence of UFOs that have been going on in the Illinois area. And then in the end, you got little old me. I'm going to do stories and evidence of the paranormal with little old me. And so we're going to have all that there. And John's going to be introducing everybody on the for everyone at 1:45, 2:45, 3:45, and 4:45. After mine at 4:45, which should probably end up in around like 6 o'clock when we're done, we're going to then start packing up and we're going to start getting our way to the Roff House and start setting up the way it should be set up so that we can start at 7 and then be able to do the seance at 7:30. Vendors, I have to make sure I say this because these lovely ladies, I'm sure they would MF me later if I don't. So let's go on here. We have a lot of very good vendors. We have Vanessa's Psychic Reading, Diet, of course, Psychic Medium, Christine Schwaz Defoe, Angel Card Reading. I love this lady. I've known her since actually I started doing all these tours. She's been working with me for years. Lovely lady. Totally Tumbled Crystals and Healing, Crystallized Creations, Short and Stout Designs, Miss Goddess of Jewels, The Redemption Den, 360 Energy Healing. This has been an ad production, Lisa Raish, Lovely's Magical Treasures, Dream With Me, Nicole Cannon. Nicole Cannon is going to be the one who's going to be in charge of all the vendors, make sure everybody gets where they got to go and how everything's going to get down. Then we have Hippie Hood Tarot, and then Sia's, and pardon me if I pronounce anything correctly, Sia's or Sia's Jewelry and more. I'm really looking forward for each of them coming out. They all each have some products. They have some skills that you're all going to love. It's going to keep you busy all day long. Food. Okay, so food. Let's talk food for a second. I will have over near the train depot, there's a kitchen there. I will just have packaged snacks and waters and maybe some juices. So that will be provided for you if you have to get some. There's this really nice Mexican restaurant that's in town. It's like 2 minutes away from the museum and the train depot. Me and Larry,
the place that you and I ate at.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good, and it's very affordable.
Oh, they give you these large portions, and it's very affordable eating this place. All right.
Yeah.
And then go check out the town. There's this old opera house that's on the corner that's going to hopefully be reestablished. And then all you can come out there and check it out sometime soon. John's actually helping being part of this thing to reopen this lovely opera house. So he's going to be out there. He can lead you out to there, show you where that's going to be. The map. Each and every one of you is going to receive a map. This is really simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2nd Street. You just shoot down 2nd Street, and it takes you right to John's house, which is kind of like a dead end, and then you just turn right. And so you can go back and forth all day long. One of the main things I want to talk about is this. The real Ghostbusters of Peoria are going to be out there. So we're going to have Ghostbusters out there, ladies and gentlemen. we are going to be playing Split the Pot. Half the proceeds go to a one-time winner. The other half is being given to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. I've been collecting for St. Jude's my whole season of doing my tours in Chicago. Every night that I go out, I do Split the Pot, and all those proceeds are going to go to the Peoria Ghostbusters. So come out and give a little. Everybody, you never ever know if you're in a position in life where like you want something good for some of these kids or your own kids. You never know. Museum. We are going to have Mr. AJ True Crime out there, the Chicago Haunted Museum. He's going to be out there. He's going to bring out all his dolls and stuff like that are possibly haunted. He's going to explain to you. AJ is awesome. I've met AJ a couple times. Just a really cool, solid dude. So he's going to be out there. One of the things about the museum, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see a bucket in there. Please give donations to the museum. It's a beautiful museum that we want to make sure that stays very, very nice and beautiful the way it is. Diane, she's the caretaker of the place. She makes sure that everything is taken care of inside that place, and we want to be able to help her as much as we possibly can. So please come out there, give. It's not only just about having fun, but it's about giving to others and helping others so we can do wonderful things like this. One other thing, like I said, I have Archbishop Christina Rake. Love this lady. Please give to her and buy the things that she's going to have. The reason why I'm saying this is because she, from across the seas, she gives to hungry children. Most of all her proceeds go to these children across the sea. So make sure if you can, please help out. We're all about helping out. Is, some people, they talk about, oh my God, all these devil worshipers, they're coming in. That's not who we are or what we're about. We're actually about helping people. A lot of us are just spiritualists. Okay. Some of us are Catholics, Christians, and this and that. And we all have an interest in the paranormal and supernatural. So make sure you come out and have a really, really good time. John, am I missing anything?
Nope. I think you've got it totally covered.
I got it.
How long is the seance for people that are wondering?
What's that?
How long is the seance for people that are wondering?
So let me ask you, Diet, how long is the seance for people who are wondering?
Till I have to go to the bathroom. No, I'm sorry.
But seriously, about maybe up to an hour?
About an hour. Yeah, about an hour.
All right.
And Lindsay's also asking online, are costumes inappropriate for the event?
No, they're not. They're not inappropriate for the event. I know Larry and me and Larry have had this discussion. He would prefer people who are dressed like Dracula and stuff like that. Please don't look like Dracula if you're going to do the interview room or anything like that. We want you to have a good time. It is Halloween. So I'm all for it. But if you have to go to the kiosk to be interviewed, please take off the witch's hat or whatever. And please let Larry do what he does best, because that's what Larry likes to do. He wants to make sure Larry's a professional, man. Yes. And Larry wants to make sure that he puts out the best product for each and every one of you. So please, if you want to wear a costume, make sure it's something you can take off for just a second. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know from giving out the energy that we're going to be doing what's going to happen to you. Sometimes things, not just a group, but that individual. Like I tell people, project out the people that you love. So much energy is going to be out there. We have over 100 people who are going to be at this event right now. So your projection is going to be very, very important to everybody. So am I missing anything, Larry, Diet, or John? No?
Come with an open mind.
Come with an open
mind. Come with an open mind and open heart.
If you come skeptical, you're not going to have as good a time as you would if you were ready to see things.
Yeah.
I love this. I love skeptics, but I do want to put one thing out there, because this was brought to my attention last week, and when I was in Minnesota, because I'm in Minnesota, telling people about this event, and they were like, "Oh, I got too many things to be going into a haunted house," and I looked at him and I said, "You've been watching too many movies, because the Roff house has nothing to do with anything you've ever heard or seen. It's not The Conjuring. It's not some evil entities. This is polar opposite. It's spiritualism. It's beautiful. It's a love story. It's ultimately, if people understood what this place was and who they were, it was the ultimate giving, of one person allowing themselves to give everything they could to another family or to a soul, to say, hey, let's have some closure. Let's be able to come together one more time. And This is not the eerie, spooky place. This is not, you will hear things, you will see things, things will happen, but don't feel as if, it's going to be this, evilness walking around, because it's not.
Right. And I agree with that. I think it's going to be a very, very lovely event. And I think we're going to gather a lot of evidence because the way the environment is right now, I really do believe that, just from the things I've been getting already inside doing what I do. So I want to say thank you, Larry, Diet, and John, for coming out and giving an idea to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, start showing up at 12 o'clock on Saturday. Okay.
Scotty wants to know how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
One,
I think Scotty is the only
2,
one that would know that and master
3.
it.
Yeah. And ask him about his Halloweenies.
His Halloweenies. What about the Halloweenies, Scotty?
That was on the last podcast that we did, all about his Halloweeny joke, his dad Halloweeny joke.
Love it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yes, Tyler, you can come after 7:30, correct?
What's that?
Tyler's asking if he can come in after 7:30.
Yes, you can come in after 7:30. It'll be discussed later on. So if we're going to be starting back up at 9 o'clock doing ghost tours. Okay. So come on out, come see if you want to be part of this thing right after the seance, Tyler, feel free to come on out, buddy. We'll take care of you.
And Lacey is asking, can we do an all ages event?
All right. So here's the thing, Lacey, how old is the child?
Scotty's laughing. I love it.
All right. So for children, it's something that I'm very near and dear to my heart, and I worry about children. I truly do. I'm asking that no one under the age of 10 come out to this event. I don't want anybody. And if you're going to bring your child out here, please, they are to stay with you at all times. They are not to go wandering off on their own. They are to be with your parents at all times. Okay, so
children get their own ticket for this, right?
If it's part of no, there is no. It's part of the regular tickets. Everybody's a part of the regular tickets. Anybody,
Right, but a child gets their own ticket. They're not like an add-on to a parent, right?
No. They would get
so that means that by your child having a ticket, you're agreeing for your child to appear in the documentary as well.
Right. Okay, I get what you're saying now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and feel free to come up to me. You're going to see me wandering around. Ask me questions. If you need some help with something, say, hey, Neil, go ahead, Diet. What were you saying?
Lacey is saying the event says 18 and up.
18 and up?
Yes.
Okay. Just so you know, I'm letting you know right now is that if anybody under, I would say 10 years of age, no. Okay.
Minus my granddaughter.
Yeah, minus your grand. Oh, she's gonna be out there doing some little tattoos for everybody.
She's with Evelyn's temporary tattoos, but she's also going to be with, while I'm in the sand, she's with your wife. So
right, she'll be with my wife.
He's got an adult with her at all times, and she knows his stuff. So she talks to them herself. So
she's a hustler.
She is a hustler.
All right, so I think we got everything covered, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who bought the ticket or are going to buy a ticket, you are going to get a generated email sent to your house, to your email system, explaining everything. Once again, start showing up at 12 o'clock. And like always, boys and girls, boo. Thanks for coming out.